go, 5 lights, and away we go. Edge on pole position. Off they go, and I see you've got a decent start there. Edge got a very good one. He's clear into turn 1. Into 3rd place by the looks of it goes Silver.
Oh, and there's a car off! It's not Thomas into the wall. He lost a bit of his front wing.
All sorts of fun and games going on into the fast chicane there. Rev. Oh, and OceanChief get together, and off goes Ocean into the wall. Edge.
He's getting into the nose.
About a half a second ahead of Sergio. Sergio's running a little bit wide, hitting the wall on the inside. That was a big impact. I'm not sure whether it got any of the front wing. It looked like he might have been alright. Very close now. Copy having to go to the outside of Bats as they run through turn 8 absolutely side by side. And I think he might just have this sort of side by side on the exit. They're going to be side by side, I think, all the way up towards the far chicane. Who's going to blink here? Bats on the outside, Copy on the inside. Bats. Good afternoon. We are back once again. We had the tournament yesterday and we have the SLR Tier 1 Hockenheim race today. And we appear to have one-shot qualifying.
Yeah, lobby settings are wrong.
Oh,
Ocean just
dear.
told me, welcome to amateur hour, he said.
Oh no. Well, that's very unfortunate. I don't know, are we going to carry on with one-shot qualifying or are we going to do actual qualifying?
I that will do. Yeah, get on leave, migrating harvester, rip.
Okay, so we are going to get another session. Quit the main menu.
Just,
no.
just as I was, oh god, help. What the hell? Never mind. Yeah, no tournament settings today for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately not. So as I was saying, we had the tournament yesterday. Today we have, as is trying to join the session, is it failed to join the session? Okay, well, I guess we'll try again.
I'll give you an invite.
That's right. Ocean has given me another invite in the meantime, so I guess that changed or something. Joining, there we go, we've done it. All right. So
yeah,
today, today we have the Hockenheim race. I'm Terror Incognita. Alongside me again is Thimo, just as he was yesterday, hopefully with better internet today, because he's been doing some DIY work.
So if you ever found yourself having issues with inconsistent internet, and just get a 10-meter network cable and throw it out of your window, and then open the window downstairs and then put it into your router, and you're good to go. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
enough cringe for today. Back to the race. So I mean, now it will take some time until we get going. Everyone in the lobby. I think 2 people are missing. But from what I've seen so far, the grid today is going to be really interesting after the... Oh, I forgot spectator again. Thank you, Light
I was about to check just to see if you had, but yeah.
I'm always the idiot. But apart from that, what was I going on about? Yeah, after the last race, I think I had some of the really big names of SLR missing. Today we've got lots of fast boys back. So we've got Light Cruiser, who might be in contention.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ruthful here. We've got Get Owned. We've got ACOS, and I think we had one guy more.
Atrocity as well.
Atrocity.
I think. Yeah.
Atrocity.
So Atrocity
Exactly.
is very fast. So yeah, I think we'll have an interesting battle at the front. We just waiting for the start of this one, as Thimo said it's going to take... Oh, it's actually not going to take that long because everyone's...
Oh, and we've got Astro Boys.
And Astro Boys, yeah, of course, who's been there for a few weeks now. I think he missed one race a couple of weeks ago. But he is definitely in there and is in the championship hunt. So it's going to be a fun one. We'll see exactly how this one turns out. Light Cruiser, of course, with a very good performance yesterday. In the tournament, driving for WWRL.
Which you should definitely check out if you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great tournament, I may say, and let's hope we get some good race action that is as good as yesterday's race action was in this German Grand Prix of SLR.
Yep, absolutely. And just a little bit of housekeeping as well. At the end of this race, or shortly after the end of this race, we're going to have something a little bit different. Not that different, but a little bit different. We have the opening round, in fact the inaugural round. It's the first ever Assetto Corsa F1 league race with 2 SRL, and both me and Thimo will be driving in that one. And as we have a wet qualifying session here in Hockenheim, so this is going to be interesting. Intermediate tires on all of the cars.
It's swimming sessions. Great. I think we'll we'll talk about Assetto Corsa a lot today. When nothing happens, always just announce Assetto Corsa is.
Yeah, and if you're not quite convinced about watching the Assetto Corsa broadcast, our commentator for the race this evening is going to be none other than Mr. OceanChief himself. So do join for OceanChief's commentary, if nothing else.
Much better than this.
Exactly.
This pseudo clever Oxford guy and this this German fucking this guy who sounds like a stupid hamster and like who can't pronounce anything in a correct way except the corner names at Hockenheimring.
And Otto Busfahrer. So yeah.
Oh yes. So let's get names up. Nordkurve, Sachskurve, great.
Or the North Curve and the South Curve, as I'm going to call them.
No, don't! Try race, by the way.
Dry race. Okay, so wet qualifying, dry race is going to be interesting, and I don't know if it's going to be wet the whole way through qualifying. Maybe we will see a little bit of dry. Don't know, but in any case, if there's not, then obviously the cars and the drivers all get free tire choice, which does change the dynamic of this race a little bit. And we have a step or like a two-step change in the tire compounds as well for this one. The qualifying tire is the ultra soft, the race tires are the soft and the medium. So it is going to be interesting to see if anybody decides to go for the ultra soft at any point, or whether everyone's going to be doing the boring old one-stop soft onto medium. I suspect most drivers are going to do that.
Yeah. Last season here, I think we had some interesting scenes with bands fighting through the field, having a long battle with, I think it was Sergio's or Speedy. I think Speedy.
Yeah.
So Germany is definitely a place where you can have some interesting side-by-side action, especially with, is it 2 or 3 DRS zones?
There's 1, 2. Yeah, because the run after turn 1 is DRS as well, right?
Is it? If it is, then we've got 3, of course.
I'm not sure, but I think so.
Yeah, probably because last year, I was about to say, it was last year technically, last season, or was it even? I don't know. Last season we saw a lot of overtaking here, where you could just on the start-finish straight, people would get really close, and then out of turn 1 they would overtake with DRS. Just guessing, and then it was basically the mind game if you wanted to be ahead at the DRS measurement point for the long parabolica leading up towards the hairpin. That was interesting and nice battling, because basically if you got ahead too early, then there was a counter move. It was pretty certainly a counter move. And let's hope we get some good action here while the drivers paddle through the wet weather.
Yeah, it's quite wet out there, isn't there? And still raining at the moment. And yeah, Quouty in chat. Thank you, Quouty. Says, there's 3. As /LP does the fastest lap. He's immediately displaced on the top step of the rankings by Mr. Light Cruiser himself, who has, as we mentioned, had a very good tournament yesterday. He came very close to winning it, within 1 3-second penalty, in fact, of winning it.
But then Jugos did clutch.
Jugos did clutch, that is true. And he won that final race, but quite a few fast times. Atrocity in first man into the 22s.
Or to quote Revo, Utwatslung Gazelo Travesgeben Ugli Atait Weldemer. Right.
I very much agree with Revo and Milosh in chat there.
What a beautiful language. And,
I
can't say we don't interact with chat. I make fun of Hungarian. That counts as interaction. So far the first in, yes, with a 1-2.
Yeah, seems like it. Ruthful just on an in lap as well now. Let's see if we can catch anybody else on a fast one. This is OceanChief, who I think it says outlap. I'm not sure he's on an outlap though. Oh yeah, he is on an outlap because he's turned his hybrid off. Get Owned is on a hot lap. In fact, he's halfway around, going into the Mercedes curve now, and not getting that one right. Running way out wide there in the left-hander. And that probably will be the end of that lap, as Copy goes fastest of all by 0.003 of a second.
Oh wow, that's really close. Probably something will happen towards the end, and now Astro Boys puts it in first for the moment. So the first shootout, you could say, won by Astro Boys, but there's 12 minutes in the session now. Everyone will drive into the pits, and I think everyone will get at least 2 tries. Probably the last try will be. Yeah, you'll probably do 2 timed laps in a row there, because I mean you don't have to conserve your tire. You're going to start on, I don't know, softs or super softs anyways.
Yep, absolutely right. Copy is doing a second fast lap here, and we'll just follow on board through the end of it.
there is no super soft thread. That's what you said.
Yeah, there's no super soft, so there's ultra softs and then softs and then mediums. So it's a question of whether anybody's going to take any ultra soft. A little bit of a lock up from Copy there into the Sachs curve. But,
Akos just had a bit of lawn mowing to do in the Sachs curve, and he abandons. Probably was no lap. Okay.
So Copy crossing the line. I have a feeling that this is going to be a fast lap, and it is a very fast lap. My goodness,
wow.
He's on pole by half a second. 1 minute 22.299. And that is a marker for everybody else to beat.
Yeah, oh boy, did he improve. Let's see if the other ones are when the
wow.
wow. It's like wow, that's 0.7 seconds. Does the track potentially dry up? Because I mean these are absolutely enormous gaps. He's 1.2 seconds ahead of Astro Boys. That's I mean Atrocity fast no doubt, but Astro Boys is not 1.2 seconds slower on pure pace normally.
Yeah, it might just be people getting used to the conditions, or it might be that, yeah, it is drying out a little bit. Don't exactly know. If we have a dry end of the session, of course that does mean that anybody on the ultra soft tyre setting a time will have to start the race on the ultra soft tyre as well. But it looks like it's still raining to me. I don't know. It's
yes, I do not. I see some rain. Yeah, on the car I can see rain. I don't see it in the other. So there is rain. Astro Boys, is he on a lap? Let me have a look. Telemetry. Yeah, no. His ERS is on 3, so probably no lap.
Yeah, I don't know. Atrocity's certainly on another one. Going through the last few corners now into the final 2 right-handers.
I don't know why he doesn't go full ERS. Maybe because his car spins otherwise, and he improves, and it's a good bunch. A second faster than his previous lap.
Yep, 0.2 of a second off Atrocity, or 1/10.5 or so off Atrocity. And I'm just trying to see whether it is still raining. It's really difficult to tell. It looks like it is.
Oh, Danico! And Danico gets in with a 20.033.
22.0, yeah, good lap from Danico. He is only, half a second off Atrocity. So work to do for some of our championship contenders here. Get Owned is really struggling by the looks of things. 25.0 from him in his first run. And a couple of other people as well. Like Ruthful we expect to be fast. He's won a race this season already in Canada. Spasco Dino does a 22.0 of his own. Up into 4th position. So 9 minutes left. It is definitely still raining, judging by that camera. And
Light Cruiser, and that is really close with Atrocity.
Yep, very close. So half a tenth or so in it, but Light Cruiser has, for now at least, done it.
Astro Boys crosses the line again. And he puts it on provisional pole. There was a 21.0. I guess, yeah, the track must be drying, but maybe it won't go to complete dry tire conditions.
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to tell because it might honestly just be drivers getting used to the conditions rather than sort of going out cold, especially when it's raining. You need a couple of laps quite often just to see exactly how wet it is, but it might also be that the track is drying. You might well be right. Just keeping an eye now on Akos, who's about to finish his flying lap. Through the last couple of corners he goes.
Bascadini and Danico also worth a mention. And that is P2. They are in P5 and P6, so they have some chances as well. They are ahead of Copy and Autobusfahrer for the moment. And Astro Boy's he's limping to the pits. Like, I don't think he has got fuel. Yeah, he probably ran out of fuel.
Yeah, looks like it. He's gonna be
driving 120 constantly.
Yeah, he's a long way from the pits as well. He has to stay out of the way in that Mercedes. But yeah, it's going to be a struggle for him to get back to the pits. He should be alright. Only a few more corners to go. And it's not a particularly long lap around here.
Akos certainly still trying his best to improve, and he overshoots that corner, the Mercedes corner. Kurve, and this year I've got an excuse for mispronouncing the English way, but about the ERS. Do you know if it's actually an advantage to drive in ERS mode 3 compared to a hot lap, because maybe you don't spin your tires as much? Because Astro Boys did drive his laps all in ERS mode 3 while the others were driving in hot lap.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe in the wet it is there is a little bit of a difference there. I'm not exactly sure. It might just be a comfort thing. I guess he switched it to 4 down the long straights as normal. But yeah, I would have thought that if there is a reason, that might be the reason. That might also save enough to allow him to do 2 flying laps or 3 flying laps in succession, which he might want to do. Don't really know. Atrocity is on another fast one. He's about to cross the line now. Wow, it's a lot of opposite locks. Slash LP retires, and Atrocity is the first driver into the 1 minute 20s.
Good lap.
Does a 20.9. A little fun fact from Mosey Gaming: it's also raining in Germany right now. Can you confirm, Thimo? Is it raining in Germany?
Not for me, but Hockenheim is in, I think, Baden-Württemberg.
Okay.
And I'm in Bavaria, so...
Yeah, Germany's quite big, it turns out. So it might be raining in some of Germany, but not all of it.
Yeah. Wait, who said it?
That was Mosey Gaming in chat.
Ah, okay.
So there we go, 5 minutes of the session.
And he's... Oh, don't be mean to him. He gave us a fun fact. I thought it was funny.
It was fun.
Stop
We had fun with it. So, Get Own Championship contender has put himself into the top 10. He's not on a fast one now. He's done a 22.2 into 8th position with that lap time. And Copy about to start a flying lap of his own now. No sign of it drying up. Only 4.5 minutes left in the session, so I think we are intermediate conditions for the duration of this qualifying session.
Well, actually... Oh god, I will actually have to check for the weather now, because if it starts raining, my network cable might run into trouble.
Oh, that's true.
Uh-oh.
So, hopefully no rain for Thimo.
Oh god, it will rain, I have to do it.
Oh dear.
That's not good. Damn it. I mean, I'll have to think about it after the race commentary is done, before the Assetto Corsa, which you should definitely give a watch.
Absolutely. It's a shameless plug alert. As Effective has had a little bit of a moment. Didn't see what happened to him. He's stopped on the side of the track. Where is he? He's on the... That's a really weird place to have a crash. On the inside of the Mercedes curve.
Hold up, what the hell?
Now he's driving across the grass.
Who?
Effective. So, not exactly sure. What is he
he's
doing?
on the gravel.
What is he doing?
So if it is weird desync, we both have it. That's good to know.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this is what's actually happening. He is... Has he got it like a controller issue or something? Something like that, I think.
He's collecting gravel.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessary. I don't know.
These steering inputs, though.
Yeah, I'm going to assume there's some sort of a controller issue. Like maybe his controller's died and he's having to use the keyboard or something. I don't really know.
That's very possible.
As Ruthful goes fastest of all, so Force India 1-2 right now.
Oh, wow.
Effective has made it pass back to the pit lane. So we'll be able to sort out whatever the problem is from there. But Ruthful with a very fast lap, 20.5 in that Force India. And we'll see in the last 2.5 minutes of this session who is able to improve on that. Astro Boy is about to start his flying lap. We've got Atrocity who is about to start as well. He's going through the Sachs curve now on his out lap.
Yeah, he'll be able to do 2 laps by the looks of it. And he is in overtake mode, which I really don't understand.
Well, because overtake mode is faster at high speed.
Yeah, but
than
you're
hot
in
lap.
the rain.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, you don't have traction problems at high speed, though. So using overtake mode makes sense then.
Why is he now going down to 0?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just doing another... Maybe this is another warm-up lap for Atrocity. And he's just getting the tyres warm or something like that.
No clue.
Don't know.
Astro... Oh, and Astro and Atrocity both in... Oh, wait. Astro and Ruthful both in ERS Mode 5, and Ruthful now about to cross the line, and does he improve on his own time? He does not. Oh, it was an outlap probably. I don't know. I didn't pay attention when he was in full
I think that was an outlet. Astro Boys is on a hot one though. And he is, in fact, he's up on his time. I don't know if that's his own time. He was 0.16 up. I don't know if that's his own lap or if it's Ruthful's lap. If it's that's his own lap. So he is improving at the moment, but not by a huge amount. He's going to cross the line, and he goes
P2.
second.
Get on retired, so he is struggling.
Yeah.
Oh, that pixel. Yeah, doing his name just and dying.
Off he goes. That inside of turn 1, was it? No, it wasn't. It was
no,
into
it was
the
a Mercedes car. I think he took out brake marker bots. I don't know if are they on the inside there. Really
yeah, I think there might be some.
Yeah, then he took all of them out.
So that's unfortunate for him.
Oh,
there's a Mercedes in the middle of the track as well. What? Who is that? It's Jesse, I think.
Not Astro.
I think Jesse has crashed. Yeah, I think Jesse has crashed, and he was in the middle of the track. So that might be a little bit of a hazard for the drivers. The end of this session is very close indeed. Who have we got on fast laps? We got Ruthful about to cross the line. He's a 10th down in Sector 2 though. Going to cross the line now, and he does not improve. 21.2. I think he did manage to get over the line before the start or before the end of the session. It was very close. Yeah, there was a split second in it, but I think he did.
Akos also managed to get through and is now on a fast lap.
Yeah, Copy improved to a 20.9. He's up to P4.
Danico on 1 as well. Atrocity now approaching the Zax curve.
Yeah, Danico's hybrid is off, so he's not improving. I would have thought. Atrocity through the last couple of corners.
And he accelerates out of the last corner, try and take as much speed as possible, and it is going to be P2 for him.
So he joins Ruthful on the front row, and it is an all-Force India front row right now. Who else?
Akos is in the Zax curve, or the Zax curve, I cannot, oh god.
I think either is fine.
Good, great. Akos now,
going through the last corner
as well, and
didn't run too wide there. So
I think he's the last one, yeah. P4.
Yeah, he goes P4. There's a couple of people who need to retire in the pits, but that is going to be the order. It's going to be an all-Force India front row with both Force India drivers putting in very, very good laps indeed. We'll see exactly.
Satan and Chad taking over the comedy program with the effective joke.
Not very effective in the style of his name. There we go. There's your qualifying order.
After my very great Dad Pixel joke, he kind of had the right to do that true. One.
So Ruthful and Atrocity, your front row. Astro Boys third, Akos fourth, Copy fifth, Danico Bascodino Light Cruiser. After a very good early part of the session, he wasn't really able to improve. Then Slash LP, Autobusfahrer, and Get Owned is in 11th, which is going to be a difficult place for him to get any points from.
Well, I mean, he has to overtake one person. It could be more difficult.
Well, that's true. But to get good points that he'll really want in the championship battle.
That is another point, yeah. He's got to play the catch-up game, because, of course, he joined in late. I think Silverstone, was his debut. Or did he drive in France? Because I don't think I commentated on France.
I think he did drive in France. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I don't remember clearly. I think he did, though.
I think he did as well, maybe from watching... I think he told me last week, but... Yeah, so that will be interesting. Now, the weather is good.
Yep. And I would imagine that we are going to see pretty much exclusively one-stops from everyone. It'll be really interesting to see if anybody does decide to try and make a break by starting on the ultra soft tyre. If I were at the front of the grid, I might be tempted to do that. Get yourself a bit of a lead before the pit stops. They will be fresh ultras, of course, so they'll last probably 6 or 7 laps before you have to pit. Let's have a look. Nope, nobody's done that. Everybody on either the soft or the medium, so it looks like everybody going to be stopping on this one.
No real reason to do otherwise. Especially under these quali conditions. Copy on the mediums, /LP on mediums. Autobusfahrer is... Wait, he's in 10th. Wasn't he supposed to be in 11th? Wasn't Ghetto the... effective.
We saw that in the background, the 2 Red Bulls just coming together and getting themselves DQ'd from the session. So they'll be starting on cold tyres, unfortunately for them.
Smeltino joined us late and he's lagging for me.
Smeltino, where is he? He's right at the back, quite some way off the back. Looks like he's alright. Is that...
Okay. No, it's fine. He just lagged back from me sometimes. Wait.
I have a feeling this is AI, though. I have a feeling this is AI driving his car right now.
This looks really weird.
Yeah, I think
Does
so.
look like a human.
We'll keep an eye on that. It might be that he's just getting himself ready for the race and is in the pause menu or something.
I must say, one last thing about my internet though. It's really great to know that if I say something and you don't immediately respond, it's not my internet having died again.
Yeah, that's true. Copy disqualified from 5th, so...
That, on mediums, that will hurt.
Yeah,
Cold mediums, turn 1. Oh, /LP! He just played some Eurobeat in the background for sure when he drove through Sachs cover because he really got sideways there. It looked like a sick drift onboard from Get Owned. Where's Autobusfahrer? Oh, Autobusfahrer's overtaken him. That's great. But you don't get points for overtaking people in the formation lap, I'm sorry.
Nope, sadly not.
Turn 1 always exciting here. You can... I mean, there's always the potential for death in turn 1 here. And let's see how that plays out. Let's hope no one dies, because we don't... we're not mean.
Yep, here we go then. 5 lights going to be on very shortly indeed. It's an all-force India front row at Hockenheim, and we are underway. Looked like a pretty good start from the both of them. Akos looked like he got a very good one as well, moving alongside Astro Boys and past Astro Boys into turn 1. A little bit further behind, and that's Danico spinning. Danico spinning and dropping all the way to the back of the field. So unfortunate for him, and a lot of 4 wide into turn 3. All sorts of carnage there. Both Toro Rossos were involved in that one as well, and Wimpy off the racetrack and has managed to recover it, but I'm pretty sure he's down some front wing. But in any case, at the front,
Akos on Atrocity he gets the white line and he tries to go all the way around the outside of Atrocity and P2 for Akos.
Yeah, Atrocity got held behind his teammate there. Ruthful parked it on the apex and Atrocity couldn't go, which meant that Akos could just go clean around the outside of him in the hairpin, which you don't often see, but very good opportunistic move from Akos. He's made up 2 places in the first half a lap here.
Copy has lost 3 positions, probably. Down to the tires, I guess, because, I mean, potentially there was a lot of carnage where he was. I know that Danico lagged behind, that was what I could catch, and then he was basically inside. He was basically inside of Light Cruiser. He was ghosted, and then, I don't know, it went into turn 1, everything tightened up, and everyone tried to be somewhere he couldn't be, and Akos already with a penalty, and then it ended just with Danico getting deposited into the wall. Unfortunate for him. Yeah. Further down the order, we saw Dead Pixel driving into Get Owned and Wimpy getting the worst of it.
Yeah, Wimpy didn't pit at the end of lap 1, so obviously doesn't have too much damage.
He doesn't have damage. He just got rear-ended and spun out.
So into the hairpin for the second time go the leaders. Akos with that penalty, as Thimo mentioned, which is very early to be getting a penalty. And he's sandwiched by 2 Force Indias, an Atrocity with that really good pace, of course, that he showed in qualifying. Going to be putting some pressure on the McLaren. And Astro Boys with a little bit of a watching brief, but he does appear to be falling off the back of that little train of cars just ahead of him. He's also under a little bit of pressure from Light Cruiser's Ferrari, although not so much right now. The battle right at the back. Wimpy trying to recover. He's past Bayfield for 14th.
Oh.
So good stuff from Wimpy, getting himself a position there, despite the really difficult start. Fastest lap of the race from Ruthful, though. He's looking to stretch his legs at the front of the field, and he is almost out of DRS range, heading into the Parabolica for the first time with DRS, but not quite out of DRS range.
Penalty for effective copy. Really, really struggling. They're behind Get Owned now.
Yeah, he's on the
from 11th.
He's on the medium tyres, which might be... Yeah, Jesse did a very good start. He's on the medium tyres, which might be why he's struggling a little bit. Light Cruiser...
Astro Boys and Light
yeah.
Cruiser! Light Cruiser tried something, and you can really carry a lot of momentum through here, and if you manage to get a good enough exit, then you might stay side by side through that little kink and then do something into the Mercedes curve, but not in the case of Light Cruiser now. He was forced a bit wide when he tried his overtaking maneuver into the hairpin. But he's still looking interested, and Rainbow Road has joined, which is very fortunate because he is, of course, the most important driver. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, he's... I don't know who Rainbow Road is. We
no idea.
Don't know why he's joined, but in any case, we have a good race at the front of the field. Astro Boy is managing to hold on to that 4th position for the time being, at least. You can see Light Cruiser just struggling maybe with the dirty air a little bit of that Mercedes. And while further up front, Ruthful not managed to break the DRS, and now Akos getting just a tiny bit closer to that Force India. Atrocity, though, keeping him very honest in 3rd place. And
Now Bayfield all the way down the order, trying something on Wimpy but not getting past yet.
Yeah, these two have been battling for a lap or so. Wimpy and was that? I thought I saw a little bit of front wing there from somebody. Not sure exactly who. There didn't seem to be any contact though, so not quite sure. Bayfield though down the inside once again. Good battle between these two.
Really close at the front now between Akos and Ruthful, even though he lost a bit now, Akos, just as I said that.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rainbow Road is gone. No.
So the front 3 going through the Sachs curve. End of lap 4. As Wimpy gets himself a penalty, maybe battling a little bit too hard with Bayfield. Atrocity running wide there between the last 2 corners.
Copy just did interesting lag things for me.
Okay, yeah, he and Slash... Oh, yeah, Copy is really struggling. What's happening with Copy?
Oh, he is dead! He is off track, and the last... Wait,
oh, yeah, yeah, huge lag. Copy lagged a lot.
Oh, that's not me. Thank God.
So, Copy... Yeah, I guess he didn't actually go off track there. He just lagged, so it looked like he did. And Copy is now gone, so that's Copy's connection, unfortunately.
Oh, really close at the front, and Akos and Ruthwell are side by side through the hairpin. Ruthwell still holding onto his position, and now Atrocity looks like he wants to try and get past as well. Akos, no opportunity now. Atrocity breaks really late, and he does the lunge. They make contact, tire to tire contact. Akos manages to balance out the car and does not drop off track. So a little bit too much love going on between these 2 cars.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a lunge from Atrocity down the inside, but he just about kept it out of the McLaren. There was a tiny bit of contact, but not too much. But the thing that has done, well, it's done 2 things. And as Wimpy retires, didn't see what happened to him. We'll try and catch it maybe on the onboard there. Can't see yellows though.
You could just see how Atrocity lifted off in turn 1 because he was too close, and now he tries a late move. Oh, they made contact. That was scrappy. I don't think there was any wing damage. I didn't see any parts flying off. Oh, now even into the side pod, and Astro Boys is looking interested with double slipstream, and he tries to go through them. And did the Force India fly off? No, he didn't.
No, the Force India is still there, but it was very dicey. Astro Boys needs to be a bit more patient than that, and then he hits the back of Atrocity again. But Ruthful has managed to make a break now with all of these guys holding each other up. Akos managing to keep 2nd place, but Ruthful nearly 2 seconds up the road and out of DRS range, which is crucial for the later stages of this race.
Holy. No position change and no death recorded so far in that battle. I really thought something big was going to happen, especially when Astro banged into Atrocity's car. My camera angle was bad, so I thought he died. By the way, on that copy thing, in the tournament yesterday, I had that pretty much once per lap, that someone would just go straight on and kill someone else. Oh, Atrocity with a penalty now after Akos had won.
Yeah,
Turn 1 is really evil here, on the inside and the outside.
Yeah, looks like it was turn 1, so Atrocity getting himself 3 seconds, and that means that Ruthful's lead is actually even bigger than it looks. It's 2 seconds on track right now, but he's actually 5 seconds ahead of Akos, and Astro Boys and Light Cruiser both in a very good position. Here might be another attack again from Atrocity, but he decides not to go for it this time. Akos just managing to hold his line through there and didn't come under threat.
The two Williams at P6 and P7 looking good so far. They are leading the midfield, you could say. Best of the rest currently, if you don't include the top 5 who are really pulling away. But Otto Busfahrer is consistently... Oh, next penalty for Akos.
Yep. That's 6 seconds for Akos.
Yeah, they are constantly... driving behind each other, get owned also with a lockup. He's struggling a bit.
Yeah, looks like it. We saw him just behind Otto Busfahrer a few corners ago, and he's fallen off the back just a little bit. He's out of DRS now, so struggling just a touch in 8th place. He's on the soft tyres as well, so he should be faster as Light Cruiser gets himself 3 seconds. So 6 for Akos, 3 for Atrocity, 3 for Light Cruiser. We'll try and keep a running tally through the race as best we can. It is a little bit difficult though. Atrocity though close enough this time to be having a look at Akos into the hairpin. Akos goes defensive. They're going to be side by side as they head into the hairpin. Atrocity trying the switchback, but Akos looked like he got his braking right. And there's no move to be made for the time being at least. He's right in the slipstream now though, on a long side into the Mercedes curve. This might be Atrocity taking 2nd place. No contact between them. It was good stuff from both of them, and Akos managing to hold it around the outside of the left-hander. And for now at least he keeps the position. Very good racing between the two of them, but again all of this just allowing Ruthful to further stretch his legs in that second Force India, or in the leading Force India rather. At the end of lap 8 he's got now a lead of what is nearly 3 seconds from this gaggle of cars from 2nd to 5th. Light Cruiser and Astro Boys of course still there as well, keeping a watching brief.
I just had a look at the championship table. With these results, we would not quite see a change of lead in the standings, because Astro Boys would be 2 points down on Get Owned in the end of this race if they were to finish in the order they are in right now. Oh, and towards the hairpin. Are they
down
actually
the inside
doing
goes
this?
Light Cruiser, and there was just a little tiny bit of room there alongside Astro Boys. He sort of jammed his car in. But
Oh, Copy is dead. Copy was actually... Oh, yeah, now he retired.
Rip Copy.
I saw that. Yeah, he spun out of the turn 2 or turn 3. I don't know. It's turn 1 is the right hander. Turn 2 is the right hander, and he spun out of the right hander. Was on the grass and then didn't even bother rejoining. Retired his car. So
that's the end of Copy's race. We saw a really good battle between Light Cruiser and Astro Boys as Smeltino's disconnected Renault gets passed by the leaders, and Astro Boys in a really good side-by-side battle managing to hold that position, but he has now lost DRS on Akos ahead of him. In fact Akos and Atrocity both right together, and Atrocity now might well be close enough again. In fact he's turned off his hybrid, so he's not going to try anything. I guess he's wary of the gap behind, wants to keep that gap to Astro Boys rather than attack Akos.
Yeah, you can just see how he's draining Akos of ERS. He is in... I don't think he's deploying a hybrid right now, and he's got half of his. And Akos on those straights, of course, he'll turn this up because he expects an attack. Yeah. And he's almost completely out of ERS. I mean, Atrocity probably not completely aware of that, but that's what is effectively happening right now.
Yep, as we move towards the back of the field, OceanChief and Bayfield battling, just as Wimpy and Bayfield did earlier in the race. OceanChief managing to get the better of that one for the time being. Back up front again. We're coming through to complete lap 10. And I just wonder when as Jesse gets himself 3 seconds.
Yeah, I saw that. Was...
I just wonder when we're going to start to see pit stops with these leading runners. All of them on softs. The top 6 all on softs. Another 3 seconds for Light Cruiser. I think that's his... I think that's his second, right?
Yes, it is. Indeed, I just looked it up. He has got 2. Akos has 2. Ruthful has only 1 warning. Atrocity has got a penalty and a warning.
Speaking of Atrocity, alongside Akos now heading into the hairpin. Once again, Akos defends the inside. Atrocity trying to do the switchback. And again, he's right on the back of the McLaren, heading through the right-hander into the Mercedes curve. He's going to have a look around the outside. Akos managing to cover that off, though, putting his car in the right position. And again, there's no move to be made.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes down the inside. Wow.
And that little kink and almost touches the rear. That would have been a clean spin if they had made contact, but they didn't, which is good to see. Bascadinho with a penalty. Atrocity. Yeah, you can just see he's having the pace on Akos. He wants to be able to potentially chase for Ruthful. Not saying that he will be successful or won't be successful, but that's what what he wants to be able to try and do, at least. Oh, gets a bit sideways there, and now with the DRS out of the slipstream, he should be able to do it. Akos not able to do anything about it, but
No, he let him through. He let him through. He lifted there so that he would pass. And now Akos is going to be in a good position, I think, to make a counter-attack, although he's almost out of ERS.
And
Astro Boys as well.
Is looking quick. That will be 3 wide. Astro Boys never... He didn't find the space. And now maybe they are pushing each other. Astro Boys gets alongside Atrocity. Akos' smart boy maneuver actually helped him get the position back here. Just what I tried to say. And will Astro Boys try and make it 2? No, he doesn't. He's still side by side with Atrocity. I almost forgot that Atrocity was...
Oh, and off goes. They're both off. As Atrocity and Astro Boys come together. Atrocity spins around. There was meaningful contact between them in the right-hander. They've been rubbing wheels the whole time, and you always take the risk that is going to happen. So Atrocity is the net loser from that situation. He didn't lose too much. He's dropped behind Otto Busfahrer and Bascodinho in the 2 Williams cars. Astro Boys has dropped behind Light Cruiser. But, well, with such close racing, they kept it clean up to that point. But just a little bit of contact at the wrong moment, and that sort of thing can happen. Atrocity pits as well, so he's changing his tyres onto mediums, I would have thought.
Such a shame that happened. It was a really great battle up until that moment, and then I don't even know who is to blame. Just the TV camera doesn't give you the full picture, and I mean, it's probably either a clean racing incident or
yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I guess Astro made contact with the right rear, and that turned Atrocity around. I didn't see whether it was because Atrocity didn't give room or whether Astro Boys just got the corner slightly wrong.
One of these, probably. So, we'll have to see how the FIA are going to decide. And Bayfield is now trying to send one on OceanChief, and they happen, and he keeps it tight, and OceanChief trying to hang it around the outside, but not able to defend it, so he's in P11. Jesse's having a good race. He's getting lots of off-tracks, lots of off-track moments. Wrong game.
And lots of penalties. Light Cruiser pits from what was 3rd. So he is going to put the medium tyres on at the end of lap 13. And yeah, Miloš making a good point in chat. Might well have been desync. It looked almost like it because they didn't really look like they were touching. So probably. It might have been a desync netcode contact or something like that.
They touched Martin. Damn it.
That's really unfortunate if that was the case.
I will rewatch it on the stream right now. Oh no, they definitely didn't make visual contact on the stream.
Okay, so yeah, looks like it might have been some sort of netcode issue, which is very unfortunate for the 2 of them. We see now a battle for 12th place. OceanChief still chasing Bayfield, as Otto Busfahrer has disconnected.
Interesting.
Looks like he's disconnected. Yeah, just drove straight through him.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, Autobusfahrer, at least for now, is a ghost. He was running very well up in 4th place on those medium tyres, so he would have had a tyre advantage for the second half of the race, but of course now he's not going to have that tyre advantage. Ruthful getting himself 3 seconds. That was in turn 1 by the looks of it. So that's his first 3-second penalty. As Akos and Bascodinho and Get Owned as well all pit to put the medium tyre on to go to the end of the race.
He leaves the pits and he is going to be ahead of Light Cruiser.
Yep.
Atrocity already with the fastest lap time.
Yep, with those medium tyres, now that they're up to temperature, he's fighting Bascodinho, and in fact he got past Bascodinho there in those couple of corners, so he is... Bascodinho had just come out of the pits, that was why, so Bascodinho's on cold tyres. But yeah, Autobusfahrer still disconnected by the looks of things, so that's going to be effectively the end of his race, unfortunately.
Yeah, Autobusfahrer's take on what happened to him is F1 crashed, was so good, potty mouth word game.
Oh dear. So Autobusfahrer, he's rejoined by the looks of things, but lost a lot of time with that incident. The two leaders pitting, or the two remaining leaders pitting, Ruthful and Astro Boys, both coming into the pits. Ruthful was in the lead before everyone pitted. Astro Boys was 4th behind Light Cruiser, so we'll see where they come out. Ruthful looks like is going to come out in the lead. /LP hasn't yet pitted. He's on old mediums, but Ruthful has a pretty clear lead by the looks of things. Astro Boys behind Akos, but ahead of Light Cruiser. We'll see whether the cold tyre situation for Astro Boys means that he falls back into the clutches of the Ferrari, but Astro Boy showing very good pace at the end of that first stint, managing to overcut Light Cruiser.
Yeah, Autobusfahrer really close to the back of Atrocity right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he back in the car? He might be.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It looks like he's driving, and also his car is not invisible. Not invisible, but transparent.
Yep.
Well, let me have a look at the position changes. /LP is on mediums, right? Like
so he hasn't pitted yet. Yep, that's right. So he's going to stop.
Okay.
I would imagine in the next 10 laps or so to put the soft tyres on, as Gedone gets himself a 3-second penalty, running 9th on track at the moment.
Yeah, you can just see how annoying that penalty for that game crash for Autobusfahrer is, because he's now exactly where he was before his game crashed, but he didn't stop.
Yep, absolutely. So he's got to do a pit stop, and he'll fall well behind the people he was running with before his unfortunate crash. Astro Boys coming under a tiny bit of pressure here from Light Cruiser heading into the hairpin. Light Cruiser cruising up to the back of that Mercedes. They take the hairpin. That was an unintentional pun, which is why I hesitated, as Atrocity has left the session, so he's disconnected as well.
Oh no,
So
this is atrocious.
a couple of people having connection issues in this one, and Atrocity was running up in P6, which is a net P5, but you see he loses that position to the, ironically, to the recovering Autobusfahrer and also to Bascodinho. So Atrocity having internet issues as well. Meanwhile, Astro Boys still under pressure from Light Cruiser's Ferrari.
Quick update, what happened to Smaltino, by the way, who joined in quali, but left in the race. He joined in quali, but his car was actually still driven by an AI somehow. No idea how that works, but that's what happened. Yeah, rest in peace.
Thinking emoji for that one.
Pretty big thinking emoji, I can agree.
So the two Williamses running together on track. Bascodinho on fresh tyres, of course. Autobusfahrer on old tyres.
And
that's not...
he'll make that move done.
Yeah, that's not any sort of a contest.
It's actually getting cold. Damn it.
Are you getting cold because your window's open, because your cables?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, well, you have to put a thicker jumper on for the Assetto Corsa race after this one. Join us for that right on this channel.
Advertisement number 3. Proud of you.
So up front, as Light Cruiser gets himself 3 seconds, we saw why. He ran wide on the exit rather, of the right-hander before the Sachs curve. So Light Cruiser with another 3 seconds. I think that is 9 for him. Slash LP finally makes his pit stop, so he'll put the soft tyres on, I would imagine, to go to the end of the race, and the Atrocity decides, having got back into the car, that he's not going to bother with the rest of this race, having disconnected. So he is out of the race. Very bad luck for the Force India driver after such a good qualifying session.
Yeah, first the crash with Astro Boys, and then this. Let me have a look. Maybe his game crashed or his internet. I'll find it behind the scenes.
Yeah, so the situation, just to give you a race recap, we're on lap 19 here in the Tier 1 SLR Germany race. Ruthful is leading on track, and also in actuality, as well as Akos gets himself another 3 seconds of penalties, so it is effective. But Akos now has 9 seconds of penalty, so he's actually some way behind Astro Boys, and I think he's behind Light Cruiser as well, or he's somewhere near Light Cruiser, because Light Cruiser has Light Cruiser has 9 as well, so he's fallen a little bit behind. So the net second place driver right now is Astro Boys, who I don't believe has any penalties.
Let me have a look. I'll check it out.
And actually I've not seen any for Bascodinho either.
1 penalty for Bascodinho, no penalty for Astro Boys. Astro Boys still with 1 warning, and Germany is a really tough track when it comes to that. You just have to exactly nail turn 1, because if you're too much on the inside, then you're going to get a corner cut. If you're going a bit too wide on the outside, then you'll get extending track limits.
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of drivers falling foul of that so far. So Astro Boy's in a very good position. He is currently second on the score sheet right now, at 3 seconds or so behind Ruthful, who still leads this race with 3 seconds worth of penalties. Astro Boy is going to try and, I think, use the DRS of Akos. He's trying to get as close as he can to the back of that McLaren. As we see Bayfield and OceanChief continuing their battle. They haven't pitted yet, running 8th and 9th right now. Bayfield, at least for now, getting the better of that little scrap.
Jesse might actually pick up some decent points today.
Yep.
Especially after all the bad luck for the front runners. If you spectate him, he seems to have some troubles, but Essential Racing has joined. But his struggles aren't big enough to, I don't know, throw him off track or anything. So good running from him.
Yep, absolutely. OceanChief pits from 9th. He's going to put soft tyres on to go to the end. Meanwhile, Bayfield gets a penalty, and Otto Busfahrer does the fastest lap of the race on soft tyres. Meanwhile, there is now a battle for second place. Astro Boys has caught up to the back of Akos in the McLaren, and these two, I think, will do battle once again, just as they did earlier on in the race. With 14 laps to go, there's plenty of time for Astro Boys potentially to make this move, and potentially to get close to the back of Ruthful as well. He needs to be within 3 seconds, of course, with the penalty situation as it is at the moment.
Who do you think is faster right now? Like, or are they equal?
Between Akos and Astro Boys, or between Ruthful?
Between Astro and Ruthful.
I think it's pretty close. I think Astro Boys is probably benefiting a little bit from being behind Akos and getting DRS, but Ruthful seems to very slowly but very surely be pulling away. So I would say that Ruthful is probably slightly faster overall.
We'll probably see if, after Astro Boy is able to overtake Akos, if he will be, but now he is definitely trying. Akos driving an early defensive line, and he's already got all of his car ahead of him, not mistaken, and he can take the line he wants into the hairpin, and so he does, and he gets himself into P2 officially now.
Yep, absolutely. Didn't fight that particularly hard, did he, Akos? I wonder if he's aware of the penalty situation, the fact that he's got so many penalties, and so
pretty sure he is.
Just doesn't want to lose so much time, as Otto Busfara making his recovery drive on the soft tyres now, passing Bayfield, who's yet to stop on those very old mediums. He's the only car in the field who hasn't yet made a pit stop.
Looking at the gap at the front, my immediate reaction would be that Astroboys is a bit faster, but it's just 1/10, and that's not representative. Yeah, okay, but okay, it's still 5 seconds, so effectively 2 seconds. Will be interesting to see if he can maybe do something about that and maybe fight for the victory today.
Yep, absolutely. And we have Jesse passing Bayfield on account of the fact that Bayfield has decided to make his pit stop, so he's going to put soft tyres on to go to the end of the race. Akos right on the back now of Astro Boys, but no move to be made into the hairpin, so he'll stay behind for the time being. And somebody else we haven't really talked about in this race so far is Slash LP, who's running in 7th place right now, but he is on the soft tyre until the end of the race, and we know that Get Owned in particular and some other drivers ahead of him have some penalties, so it'll be interesting to see whether he can get close enough to those drivers to potentially jump them with those soft tyres. There's still 12 laps to go, and you would expect that he would be faster in the second half of this race.
At the moment, it looks like in the championship table, Get Owned and Astro Boys will be equal for the lead, because Astro Boys potentially getting 8 points and 18, and Get Owned getting 8 for P6. So if it stays like that, we are going to get a tied championship.
Okay, exciting stuff. Yeah, Get Owned pretty close to the back of Bascodinho now. I think he's been slowly catching for the last 10 laps or so, and he is just out of DRS range.
Oh no. Okay, I just the death of Copy is actually, I don't know if it's his fault, but it was caused by Jesse being really slow, and I guess it was maybe Copy's internet. I'm just going to wait, let me have another look while you say on the action. I'll try and analyze what happened there.
Yeah, we saw Copy lagging a lot on the front straight, and I think he said rip his internet in chat as well. So
yeah, okay, so what happened is pretty much exactly how an Assetto Corsa lag works. So he was driving through turns 2 and 3, and then Jesse, who was a good bit ahead of him, like 1.5 seconds, lost connection and was driving almost like an S line there on the outside, and Copy couldn't avoid him and drove into him, and exactly in the second Copy hit the car of Jesse just instantly teleported away 2 seconds onto the parabolic car half straight thingy, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's unfortunate. Copy's internet taking him out of the race effectively. And he had 2 issues, and that's, I mean, it's a shame. He is in the certainly in the top 5 for the championship. He's in the top 4, I think. I don't know if he's ahead or behind Triton. Triton is not showing up, so yeah, Copy is currently P3 in the standings. He's sitting on 111 points, 123 for Astro Boys, 133 for Get Owned, and both will score today probably, and Copy won't score today. So unfortunate turn of events for him.
Work to do for him for the rest of the season. Get Owned now is right on the back of Bascodinho, so those two are pretty much joined in battle. Up front, the situation is pretty much as it was a couple of laps ago. Ruthful and Astro Boys are running at around about the same sort of pace. So with that situation being as it is, unless there are any more penalties on Ruthful's side, and there could be, then he is looking good to take this race win, at least for now. He's got 3 more he's got 3 seconds of penalties. Astro Boys doesn't have any, so he is ahead on the road by 5 seconds, so he's actually 2 seconds or thereabouts ahead of the Mercedes driver. Get owned. Gonna make a move here on Bascodinho into the hairpin.
Yeah, he moves to the inside and yeah, good. Oh, he
Ooh.
overshoots it massively. Will he lose it again? Yes. I mean, they are still side by side. He could do something, but
No,
I
didn't
doubt
get a
it.
good run out. He really overshot the hairpin, as you said, and blows his chance, at least for the time being, of getting into the top 5 of this race. There'll be more chances for him, though, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure he's quite a bit faster than Bascodinho. Seems to have found some pace in the second half of this race. Get owned, which is really good to see.
How's his penalty situation in comparison to the one of Light Cruiser?
Yeah, good question. He certainly has some penalties, Get owned. I'm not exactly sure how many.
Light Cruiser's got 3 and Get owned has got 1, so it's 6 seconds.
Okay.
That he will gain on him, and that is around the gap. I mean, I think it's like 6.2 seconds or thereabouts.
Yep, I think that's about right. So if he is faster than Light Cruiser and he's on fresher tyres, albeit only by 1 lap than Light Cruiser, then he might be interested in that position as well. But he just made a mess of turn 2, which means that he doesn't, this lap, have any real chance of making a move on Bascodinho ahead. So he's going to have to wait at least another lap for that one. Meanwhile, mentioned up front that the situation was pretty static. Astro Boys has taken half a second out of Ruthful, so the lead now 4.7, and with what, 7 laps to go at the end of this one, that gap is starting to come down. It needs to be 3 seconds, of course, for Astro Boys to close that gap. He does his personal fastest lap of the race of 14.2. So the gap now, in practice, is only 1.5 seconds between Ruthful and Astro Boys. Ruthful going to have to push hard towards the end of this race. He's got a lot of pressure from Astro Boys here to withstand.
Yeah, certainly. So how is it looking? It's 0.5 second that he lost. Get owned? Will Get owned maybe try... Oh, wait. Yeah, Get owned will try something on Bascodinho again.
Looks like
now
it,
on the main straight, Bascodinho, he's keeping the outside line. He could defend really well if he went to the inside. Maybe he's giving it up. But no, he swings it right the outside, and he actually manages to hold on to this. Get-on's run was better though, and now it looks like, Bascodinho has pretty much surrendered this position. Nice pass this time after it didn't work last time. A bit of a lock cut. That looked dangerous for a second, I thought, but no. Okay.
Yeah, he got away with it. Didn't run too wide, so Bascodinho didn't really have a gap to go into. So Ghetto now is, well, I mean, I was going to say less than 6 seconds. It is technically less than 6 seconds, but only just behind Light Cruiser. And now, in fact, it's more than 6 seconds. So he's going to have to push a little bit to see if he can get that gap closed. And Akos also falling off the back of Astro Boys. So Astro Boys struggling just a tiny bit to... Oh, sorry, Akos struggling just a tiny bit to keep himself. 3 more for Get Owned, though, so...
Okay.
Now he's got a lot more work to do. Yep, and he's under pressure again here from Bascodinho.
And he moves to the inside. Let's... Oh, bit of contact, I think, even. I'll have a look if Bascodinho's got a look how it's his penalties. He's got 1, Get Owned has got 2. So Bascodinho should realistically stay ahead of both. Wait, has Slash LP got a penalty? He might
I was going to say Slash LP is slowly cruising up to the back of this battle. You see him there in the background in the Sauber. So he's got 2
penalties for him.
So the same as Get Owned. So he's going to have to pass these guys on the racetrack.
None for Autobusfahrer so far. By the way, I find it really ironic how Busfahrer is literally called bus driver and he's driving a Williams. I think this is certainly a not so well hidden message here. Lol.
Yep. 5 laps to go in this one, and the situation up front is very interesting indeed. Astro Boys pretty consistently closing that gap to
4
Ruthful.
laps in a second, I doubt it. I doubt he'll get that.
Well, I mean, he's closed about a second in the last 4 laps.
Oh,
So
did he? Okay.
yeah, I'd say so. It was 5 seconds. It's now 4. So Ruthful has some work to do. I don't know. Yeah, he has some traffic as well. But Dead Pixel manages to move out of the way pretty safely of the Force India driver. So
What is pretty in... Sorry. Go on.
I was just going to say it's going to be a very close finish between the two of them, I think. 9/10 at the moment is the gap in practice, and it's coming down all the time.
It's really annoying for Ruthful. After he got that penalty around 20 laps ago, he didn't pick up a single warning, and Astro Boys are still on 1 warning, so absolute outstanding job by Astro Boys. You cannot say it in another way. It's just great.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, by both of them.
probably not enough, even though, I mean, he's got a shot. I shouldn't count him out.
Yeah, still lots of driving to be done in this one. There are 4 laps to go. Get Owned and Bascodinho continue to do battle. Slash LP gets himself 3 more seconds, so I think his chances of jumping either of these drivers have pretty much disappeared, unless something really extraordinary happens. But Get Owned now right on the back of Bascodinho. The Williams covering the inside. Get Owned, though, is going to be passed before they even get there, and Bascodinho just runs into the back very gently of the Toro Rosso. Gets away with it, though. No front wing being lost, so Get Owned relatively cleanly getting that position.
But I doubt he'll be able to build a 3-second gap to Bascodinho in the short span of time he's got, but maybe to Slash LP he needs 3 seconds on Slash LP, otherwise Slash LP will... Oh wait, never mind, Slash LP has got penalties of his own. Never mind.
Yeah, he does. Danny Coe taking 10th from OceanChief. That is a real battle on track, so OceanChief, we know how much he loves his 10th place. He's going to have to recover it from Danny Coe, although Jesse is ahead of them 6 seconds or so, so it might be that Jesse, with all the penalties that he has, drops behind the 2 of them.
Oh my god, yeah, certainly. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is 7 penalties, it's 21 seconds.
Okay, so yeah, we've seen his name pop up a few times, Jesse, and that is why, as Bascodinho once again goes down the inside of Get Owned into the hairpin. These two have been swapping positions for a few laps now. Neither able to make a break from the other.
Difficult. Oh god, my PC is doing fun stuff. Excuse me.
Up front, the gap now. It's less than a second between these two, but it hasn't really come down in the last 2 laps or so. It's 9/10. Because the situation in terms of penalties, Astro Boys has no penalties, Ruthful has 3 seconds. So this gap of 3.7 seconds now is actually only 0.7 of a second. As Light Cruiser gets himself 3 seconds, that might be meaningful towards the end of this race.
By the way, last shout out to Triton, because apparently he's in the movie theater about to watch Endgame and he's blasting our stream on full volume to avoid Endgame spoilers.
Fantastic. So good work, Triton, spreading the word of SLR out there.
Totally. Oh, get on the Bascodinho.
Yep.
Another one of their position swaps, probably the penultimate one.
Yep, I would have thought so. It'll be interesting to see who of those 2 finishes ahead. As Slash LP getting a lot of oversteer on the exit of that right-hander. Meanwhile, up front, we are going to have a showdown between these two. It is very, very close now. As they start the last lap, Ruthful is 0.4 of a second. As Astro Boys does the fastest lap of the race of 14.1. He is pushing very, very hard in that Mercedes. And the gap now is extremely close. You can see between the 2 leading runners in this race, it needs to be 3 seconds or less for Astro Boys.
It's going to be a hot lap session.
For Astro Boys to win this race, and it is going to come right down to the wire.
One-shot qualifying time.
Pretty much. That is not a real car. Smeltino in front of Astro Boys, but that is a ghost.
7, Oh, and now he's
Yep, he's in
within
the
3
lead.
seconds.
He's in the lead of this race for the
my
first
God, may
time,
he
Astro
actually,
Boys.
What did Ruthful do? I didn't catch it. What did he do? Like, did he make a big mistake because he lost half a second at once?
Yeah, I didn't see. I was been on board with Astro Boys, and you can see just in the distance there's the dot that is the Forced India, but I think Astro Boys, it's going to be so close.
Oh my God, no!
Going to be so close through the last few corners.
God. 18 hundredths of a second.
It needs to be 3 seconds or more.
It's 3 seconds. Astro Boys across the line, and it is victory.
Wow! Astro Boys wins by 0.012 of a second. That is undoubtedly the closest finish we have ever had in SLR. Astro Boys winning by such a small amount. That must have come down right to the last corner.
And behind them, Bascodinho is in P5. Otto Busfahrer got promoted into P5. Gedont in P6. And yeah, Astro Boys takes the championship league with that. Certainly.
Yep.
So good work from him. Light
so
Cruiser
close.
in P7. Slash LP P8. And beyond him, there's a huge gap. Holy...
Yep.
Oh my God.
That was quite something. So the two up front separated by 0.012 of a second. The closest finished by a long way in SLR history. And behind them, Akos finishing a pretty good third. And I think Bascodinho was promoted to fourth there as well. We'll get confirmation of that just as soon as we have a little look at the podium ceremony. There is Astro Boys, and that was a nail biter.
Wow.
So there is confirmation.
Oh God. Really great finish.
Astro Boys,
it was
yeah.
probably, certainly the closest one. Probably one of the, if not the most exciting.
Yeah, it must be. It wasn't a battle on track. It wasn't wheel to wheel, but it was certainly every bit as tense as that. So Astro Boys taking all 25 points today. Ruthful second, then Akos rounding out the podium. Yeah, Bascodinho with a good penalty situation. Light Cruiser falling all the way down to 7th, having finished 4th on track with those 12 seconds worth of penalties. Bascodinho promoted to 4th. Otto Busfahrer, an excellent drive, with that disconnect up to 5th. So he gets himself some good points. Yeah, with Get Owned just behind in 6th.
So let's move on to the obligatory stuff. So
driver of the day.
For driver of the day. So I would have actually potentially, I do not know. The usual stuff that Astro Boys did have a great drive, but honestly, Otto Busfahrer finished in 5th. He had no penalty, and he lost, I think it was him who lost 20 seconds in the disconnect, wasn't it?
Yep, it was him. Yep, it definitely was him.
He still only finished 28 seconds down the lead, and that was around the time he lost. So, like, if the disconnect hadn't happened, he would have been right up there and fighting for P3, I guess. And he started from P10, so I would honestly want to give it to him.
Yep, I was going to say exactly the same thing. Pretty much, I think that's a very good case that you made. So I'm going to give him. We're going to give him the driver of the day. So Otto Busfahrer wins driver of the day. Sorry, Astro Boys. It's you'll have to console yourself with the 25 championship points you got from the race win after that absolutely fantastic finish between Astro Boys and Ruthful. We haven't seen anything quite like that before in SLR.
Does Ray want an Astro interview? Ray wants an Astro interview. Does Astro want an Astro interview?
We could do, if we're quick about it, we need to get off.
We honestly really need to set up everything for Assetto Corsa. So
yeah, we do. What time is it? Because we were a little bit late starting here, weren't we? So
like 9 minutes to go.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely don't have time for an interview. Sorry, Astro Boys.
I'm
sorry, Ray.
But great drive, holy Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. We'll have to do interviews next time.
12,000ths of a second.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is the margin that this race was won by. It was a fantastic race and lots of incident pretty much all the way through the field.
I don't know if it was the drive of your life, Astro Boys. I don't know. You got to know. But if it was, congrats.
So that does us for this broadcast then. SLR, this is only one part of this weekend's festivities, of course. We've had the tournament yesterday. We've had this race today. We have the Assetto Corsa race very soon indeed with OceanChief
Number 5
commentating in that one. And then tomorrow we have the 2 SRL race. And it'll be me and Thimo back for that one. So join us for that. But any final thoughts, Thimo? Any shout-outs at the end of this stream?
Watch Assetto Corsa. Goodbye.
Absolutely. See you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow for the 2 SRL race. But yeah, keep it here for the Assetto Corsa race. Goodbye.